It's January 27th. JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today in the Treasury Titans. Nothing in this video is financial advice, but listen, Michael Saylor is prepared for war. Are you? Let's keep on moving now to the first tab from Chris Millis today. And Chris wants us to know that no transition to a new paradigm has ever been smooth. The process is messy and requires constant experimentation and iteration. Most importantly, it requires time. Yet, for some reason, people don't expect that rule to apply to strategy. It took decades for society to fully appreciate the value of refined oil in the late 1800s. It's going to take years for society to fully appreciate the value of digital credits. Position accordingly. Now, what I want to step back and take away from this is I shared this, I think it was earlier this week. I was probably actually late last week. I was in a conversation, this investment meeting with some really like very brilliant investing minds, very brilliant financial minds. And we were talking about these different investments we had made a couple of years ago into these different companies and how they were doing, et cetera, et cetera. And then the subject of cash was brought up, and they're like, "What do you guys do with your cash?" It's just like, you just have treasury bills. I'm like, treasury bills? What are you guys talking about? You don't put your money in Stretch. STRC is paying out 11%, APR. You get paid out monthly from that. It's over 6x collateralized. And they're like, "What are you talking about? What is digital credits? Bitcoin backed credit? Like, what is that?" Like, they had none of them as a collective had ever heard. They all pull out their phones and looking at it like, "I don't understand this. I don't get it. Like, how is this possible?" And I'm just like, man, if these individuals who like scan the headlines every day are deep in investing and trading and gold and silver, they're into Bitcoin as well, by the way. And they just hadn't heard of it. They just didn't get it. It just wasn't on their radar. Whose radar do you think it's on? The few right now. But whose radar is it going to be on in 5 years, in 10 years? Everybody's radar. And by the way, if it's not quote unquote on your radar, what that means is you're just like, "Oh, like I get 11%, yield on my money, on my cash." You might not know why if you're financially illiterate, but that's what you'll get. So, I mean, listen, it took decades for society to fully appreciate the value of refined oil in the late 1800s. Things move faster now, no doubt. But man, we are still so early. Jeff says computers will prefer Bitcoin over metal. The risk underwriting of Bitcoin is far more calculable with smaller standard deviation than metal. Computers will make up a larger proportion of decision making of the future. In hindsight, it will have been obvious. And that's one of the key things here. It will have been so obvious that this was coming. It's just for those who are patient and who understand where the puck is going and are skating, as Wayne Gretzky would say, to where the puck is going to be, not where it is. Zink says, on the 5th of December 2013, Bitcoin closed at an all-time high of 1,152. So think about that. 1,152 was the price of Bitcoin in December of 2013. It took 3 years and 1 month for it to close above this price. On the 5th of January 2017, Bitcoin closed at an all-time high of 1,156. So think about that. That took 3 years and 1 month of being below the all-time high. We're only 112 days away from the last all-time high. Can we please have some patience here? I mean, it was just back in October. We were at 126,000. Like October, like I still like have milk in my fridge from October. That's not true, but I mean, you get my point. It's like that was so recent. Like, come on, my friends, let's have a little patience here. All right. Digital Asset Research says, since bottoming in November, Bitcoin has refused to melt down to the widely predicted 70K targets. Think about what it's absorbed without breaking. Forced Venezuela regime change, Trump escalating Greenland takeover rhetoric, new tariff threats, Japanese bond market stress, Iranian revolution risk, seized Russian oil tankers, open threats of U.S. intervention in private markets, failed crypto legislation deadlines, renewed government shutdown threats, and still no structural breakdown. At some point, you have to ask, what exactly is left to flush? Markets don't ignore this much stress unless the selling is already done. Now, listen, we've been talking about this. I wanted to reiterate this point. I've talked about this in past episodes, but we have to realize all these things have happened. All these negative things have happened, and Bitcoin's still in the high 80,000 range, like 87,000 as of today, as of me recording this. I mean, it's absolutely bullish. The Bitcoin Bulldog says, this has been a long time coming, MSTR to Bitcoin. Look at for how long. since August. MSTR has been below essentially the Bitcoin line from the ratio, the MSTR to Bitcoin USD. And guess what? It's just peaked through. It's just started to look like it bottomed, and that now it's peaking through. Of course, you could have said this then. It didn't happen. But that's really the only other time that you can really have said that, like, okay, are we having a breakout here? Nope, didn't happen. Are we having a little? Nope, didn't happen. Okay, this one, we'll see. Time will tell, but we're in the right direction. Ted says, Saylor has bought a lot worth of Bitcoin in this range. Imagine Bitcoin's price without his buying. And look at this range. And what I have to say is, imagine MSTR's price when Bitcoin actually runs and gets back up to this range. Because to me, that's flipping exciting. So let's go. Jesse Meyer says, Strategy has acquired 40,000 Bitcoin so far in 2026. Only 11,700 Bitcoin has been mined so far in 2026. Eventually, the Bitcoin price must go higher. But Jesse says, not just higher, much higher. Absolute to freaking mentally. Grain of Salt says, if you think Strategy is just a leveraged Bitcoin proxy, you're missing what Saylor is actually building. This isn't about accumulation. It's about architecting the future. MSTR stretched cash, strike, strife, stride, stream. And here we go. Strategy with 700 plus Bitcoin is no longer a participant. It is infrastructure. This is what infrastructure looks like. Absolutely, without a doubt. Thanks, Graham. Simon says, the date and time have been decided. The 27th Ordinary General Meeting of Shareholders will be held on March 25th, 2026. The value is going to be at an arena. The details of the proposed agenda for MetaPlanet items will be announced as soon as they are determined. And here's MetaPlanet ready to rock and roll, because 2026 is going to be a great year for MetaPlanet. Mercury and Mars are coming out. If you know, you know. Once the MTPLF, the MetaPlanet ticker price, gets essentially above 637 yen, then it's going to be able to start selling warrants and accumulating more Bitcoin in that manner as well. They just revised all their income-producing activities up a ton, like over 30%. Very bullish MetaPlanet. Dylan says, MetaPlanet fiscal year guidance, 8.9 billion revenue, or I should say $57 million in revenue, $40 million operating profit. The fiscal year outlook, 103 million revenue, which is plus 80%, and 73, almost 74 million operating profit, plus 81%. Full earnings on February 16th. And I will be there for sure, listening and enjoying. So we have a lot of great Michael Saylor words coming your way as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors. Michael Saylor just made an $835 million bet buying the Bitcoin dip. Right now, Bitcoin's fallen almost 40% off its October high, and the big money is buying the dip. What's your strategy? Now might be a great time to convert your IRA or 401k to Bitcoin with the help of Bit IRA. Plus, you can fund it with pre-tax funds, then continue to invest in it over time as you do any other retirement account. Bit IRA protects your assets with end-to-end insurance, highly secure storage, multi-encryption, and registered with the U.S. government. Your IRA is fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without incurring taxes on any buys or sells. Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Bitcoin has proven time and time again to rebound, every cycle going from a higher low to a higher high. With Strategy's latest purchase, Michael Saylor clearly believes Bitcoin is at a discount. Time for you to get into. Go to bitira.com/JLD to open a tax-sheltered IRA in Bitcoin. When you want more for your business, start with Northwest Registered Agent and get access to thousands of free guides, tools, and legal forms to help you launch and protect your business all in one place. Build your complete business identity with Northwest today. Your business identity is more than your logo or website. It's everything that defines who you are and how you operate, from what your customers see to what they don't, like operating agreements, meeting minutes, and compliance paperwork. With Northwest, you'll get more for your business, more privacy, more guidance, and more free resources than you'll find anywhere else. For nearly 30 years, Northwest Registered Agent has helped entrepreneurs form, grow, and protect their businesses. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in America, powered by over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know the local laws and can help you every step of the way. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free.
The future is we embrace Bitcoin as digital capital. We rebuild the entire economy with that as the base layer. Then we create products on top of it, whether it's digital insurance or digital credit or digital banking or digital derivatives. And I am not the expert in digital banking, digital derivatives, or digital insurance, nor am I going to purport to be. I'm just going to focus on digital credit. And I'm not even the expert in digital credit because there's 100 flavors of digital credit. I'm just going to focus upon the digital credit that we focused on and digital treasury credit. And what I would say is that if you actually take that credit and then you synchronize it with the dollar and the yen and the euro and the real and the pound, you synchronize the digital credit with the currency systems of the world, and you're synchronizing it with the $300 trillion credit market, then that becomes the base layer for a new type of digital money. And high-powered money is the yen yielding 6%, the pound yielding 8%, the dollar yielding 8%, the euro yielding whatever it yields. Whatever the currency frame of reference is, wherever your liabilities are, I'm going to give you that with no currency risk, but with a risk-free rate, ideally, which exceeds the inflation rate of that currency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If the dollar is expanding at 8% and I can give you digital money that yields 8% tax deferred, then I just gave you a completely stable instrument that lets you keep up with inflation. And then you don't got to complain that you bought Bitcoin at the all-time high 94 days ago and now it's traded down, or you bought whatever stock, some Bitcoin treasury company 3 months ago and it traded down. It's like, I mean, the truth is, when you buy Bitcoin, you're a capital investor. You got to have a 4-year time horizon. When you buy equity, you're an equity investor. You got to have a 4-year time horizon, and you take equity risk, right? It's like, if you don't want to take risk and you don't want to take duration, you don't want credit risk, you don't want duration risk, you don't want equity risk, you want money.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you want it from? You want it from a too big to fail bank. So what is the future? Right? The brilliant future is the 200 biggest banks in the world offer digital money accounts that pay double what traditional money markets pay, and 10 or 20% of the money in the world flows into those bank accounts, maybe 30, maybe 40, maybe 50. Remember what I said, though? It took 30 years for 75% of the people to agree that electricity made sense. How long did it take any rational thinker? 30 seconds. Takes 30 seconds for a rational thinker to figure out what it took the world 30 years to 75% agree on. So if we create digital credit and we wire it, and then we create digital money and then we wire it into the banking system of the world, you're going to have delivered a product which is 3 times better, or depending on how you how valuable is it for you to collect $120,000 a year instead of $40,000 a year? Is that 3 times better, or is that infinitely better?
Yeah.
Might be infinitely better, right? So we'll create that. It'll take amount of time. And what's the risk factor? The risk factor is distraction of the management team. It's ego, right? It's always ego, Danny. It's you have something good and your ego tells you got to make it better, right? It's like, if you want to segue into the controversy du jour right now, it's like Bitcoin will fail if it doesn't have larger block sizes. That was the controversy. Then Bitcoin will fail, and that gave us the block size word. Bitcoin will fail unless it has more functionality, and that gave us Taproot. Bitcoin will fail if it doesn't use less energy. And that gave us the ESG, wars. Bitcoin will fail if a billion people can't self-custody and all of a sudden you need 100 bit proposals to scale up, to scale that up. Bitcoin will fail if it doesn't have smart contracts, and you need that. Bitcoin will fail unless we're quantum resistant right now. And it's all of this alarmism and it's ego. People have these ideas and they want to be very important, and so they want to represent their ego, and they want to drive dilutive distractions in 100 ways. And I would say that's how empires fail. Why is California struggling? Because you get so rich and so successful that you feel like you can do whatever you want. What's the second best? There is no second best.